What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Weekly GCAP, the only source you'll ever need to catch up on all the gaming news from the last week. As always, we got quite a couple stories to go through, so let's go ahead and get right into this. First things first, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has finally released and the reviews went live. Right now it's sitting at a 92 on Metacritic. I don't think it's any surprise that this game is reviewing so well, but anyway, this game released February 29th, and I can tell you firsthand, it's absolutely amazing. Next up, the Spider-Man 2 New Game Plus update release date was announced. Now, they had announced the update previously, but they didn't have a release date. Well, now they do. So, this is coming from Insomniac Games on X, quote, "An exciting new update launches March 7th, bringing a suite of highly requested features to Marvel's Spider-Man 2. This includes New Game Plus, Hellfire Gala suits, symbiote suit styles, time of day changes, and more," end quote. So again, you can look forward to that update coming out March 7th. Next up, just wanted to let you guys know that Little Devil Inside got a new trailer. We got some new gameplay, and let me just say that this game looks absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, there was no official release date yet, but I can tell you, I've been waiting for this one ever since it was first announced. Super excited for it, and I'm rooting for this team. I can't wait for this game to come out. Obviously, as always, as soon as we get some more details about it, I'll let you guys know immediately. Next up, Age of Mythology Retold was announced. They had this really cool augmented reality teaser video just kind of showing some of the models in the game. They said it'll be coming to Xbox and Game Pass and Steam. Unfortunately, no word on a Nintendo Switch or PlayStation release, so it looks like this is just going to be Xbox and PC exclusive. They also said that it'll be coming sometime in 2024, but no official date at this time. But once we find that out, as always, I'll let you guys know. Next up, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Wrath of the Mutants was announced. This is a beat-em-up arcade game from 2017 based on the Nickelodeon animated series from 2012. However, they're finally porting it to like home consoles, and it's gonna be on every home console, that being like the Switch, PS4, PS5, Series S and X, and Xbox One and PC. It'll be coming out April 23rd, and I can tell you firsthand, it's definitely one that I'll be picking up day one. When it comes to TMNT and beat-em-ups, I can never get enough. Next up, it seems like PSVR2 is gonna be coming to PC. This coming from PlayStation Blog, quote, "We're pleased to share that we are currently testing the ability for PSVR2 players to access additional games on PC to offer even more game variety, in addition to the PSVR2 titles available through PS5. We hope to make this support available in 2024, so stay tuned for more updates," end quote. That's all the information that we have at the moment, but I feel like that'll add a lot of longevity and usefulness to the headset overall, because it's no surprise it hasn't been selling so well. So I'd love to hear from you guys on this one. Like, if they would add some more support on the PC side of things for PSVR 2, would you be more inclined to pick one up if you haven't already? Next up, apparently PlayStation Portal sales are exceeding expectations. This coming from GameFile.news. Quote, "Sony's unusual and perpetually sold out new handheld gaming device, the PlayStation Portal, is hotter than the company thought it would be. Quote, although we don't have any numbers to share, the demand has continued to exceed our expectations," PlayStation's VP of Product Management, Hiromi Wakai, recently told me. Now, again, it's one of those things, right, with like the PlayStation Portal. It's not something that I'd ever necessarily pick up, and I don't really understand the use case for it. Maybe if you're like a parent and you got kids that always hog the TV or vice versa. I mean, hey, if it's selling, that's cool and all, but just imagine how many more units they could sell if they finally dip their toes back into the handheld realm, and who knows, maybe we could see like another PlayStation Vita / PlayStation portable type device. I mean, hey, I'm not banking on it, but I'm just saying, maybe it's my nostalgia, but that would be pretty cool. Next up, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has failed to meet expectations. This coming from Video Games Chronicle, quote, "Chief Financial Officer Gunnar Weidenfels provided a brief update on the game's early performance during Warner Bros. Discovery's fourth quarter earnings call on Friday. Quote, "We are lapping the release of Hogwarts Legacy in February last year, which saw the largest portion of its very positive financial impact in the first quarter," he said. "This year's Suicide Squad, one of our key video game releases in 2024, has fallen short of our expectations since its release earlier in the quarter, setting our game's business up for a tough year-over-year comp in Q1, end quote. So, I mean, is there really anything else to say? I mean, the fact that Suicide Squad failed to meet its expectations is falling in line with my expectations. Next up, Remedy has acquired the full rights to the Control franchise. This coming from RemedyGames.com. Quote, "Today, Remedy Entertainment PLC and 505 Games SPA announced a transaction upon which all publishing, distribution, marketing, and other rights to Control, codename Condor, Control 2, and all future Control products will revert to Remedy," end quote. So this is pretty cool, because how many times have we heard about certain development studios shutting down, or just, you know, whatever it could be, certain studios getting disbanded, and then the publisher holding on to the IP, and then doing nothing with said IP. I look at, you know, some publishers like Activision and EA as prime examples, where they have all these IPs, but they never really do anything with them. But the fact that IPs are in Remedy's hands means, well, simply, they're in good hands, and we don't have to worry about anything like that. So, Congratulations to Remedy, that's awesome. Next up, Supermassive Games was hit with some layoffs. This coming from Supermassive Games on X, quote, "It's no secret that the games industry is currently facing significant challenges, and unfortunately we are not immune to this. After much deliberation and with deep regret, we are therefore undertaking a reorganization of Supermassive Games. As a result, we are entering into a period of consultation, which we anticipate will result in the loss of some of our colleagues. This is not a decision that's been taken lightly, with many efforts made to avoid this outcome. We are all too aware of how unsettling and difficult this process is going to be for all our employees, and will be working closely with all those involved to ensure the process is conducted as respectfully and compassionately as possible. We've committed to focusing our efforts on our core strengths and upcoming titles to ensure the continued sustainability of the company," end quote. For those who don't know, Supermassive Games are the ones behind the Dark Pictures, Until Dawn, The Quarry, etc. And I mean, this has just been a recurring thing throughout 2024 so far. It's just layoff after layoff after layoff, with hundreds if not thousands of developers being let go from all these companies. And it just sucks because at the end of the day, even though to a certain extent, you know, it can be blamed on the higher ups for not, you know, managing their projects well enough when it comes to like budgets and stuff like that. Like, yes, the developers to a certain extent are somewhat responsible for keeping those budgets in check, but at the same time that also does, you know, come to the higher ups because they're the ones supplying the money in the first place. At the end of the day, it's always the little guy that's gonna end up getting hurt, you know, as a result. So again, my heart goes out to all the folks that were laid off at Supermassive Games, and I hope you all are able to find sustainable work again here soon. Next up, I wish that the last story was the only story about layoffs that we had to talk about today, and I wish that this was also the last one that we had to talk about today, but there's going to be even more layoffs that we have to cover even after this story, so let's just get into this one. PlayStation has laid off 900 employees. This is coming from SonyInteractive.com. Quote, "The PlayStation community means everything to us, so I felt it was important to update you on a difficult day at our company. We have made the extremely hard decision to announce our plan to commence a reduction of our overall headcount globally by about 8%, or about 900 people. Subject to local law and consultation processes, employees around the globe, including our studios, are impacted. These are incredibly talented people who have been part of our success, and we are very grateful for their contributions. However, the industry has changed immensely, and we need to future-ready ourselves to set the business up for what lies ahead. We need to deliver on expectations from developers and gamers and continue to propel future technology in gaming, so we took a step back to ensure we are set up to continue bringing the best gaming experiences to the community. Below, I've shared a copy of this email I sent out to the company this morning to provide more context on our thinking. We deeply appreciate and understanding from the PlayStation community, as these decisions are very difficult. Please rest assured that our plans for reorganizing and streamlining are so we can continue to deliver the best gaming experiences possible," end quote. Now, this extended to a lot of our favorite PlayStation studios, one of those being Insomniac Games, which did actually end up posting a response to all of this over on X, and we can read this here. Quote, "Like several other teams across SIE and PlayStation Studios, Insomniac Games was impacted by yesterday's layoffs. There are no sufficient words to express our feelings about it. This is a solemn and unprecedented moment for our studio. We are focusing our energy on helping everyone affected through this challenging time. For those who are hiring, these are great people seeking new roles who made important contributions to Insomniac's history. We're extremely grateful for them, and they will be missed," end quote. Again, another situation where there really is no words and there's nothing that can be said here, and what I'm saying here I'm gonna just have to say during the next story, because I mean, saying anything more would kind of just be like talking to a brick wall. You know, it's kind of like the immovable object. Nothing I say can change it, and there's, you know, nothing I can really do about it. But the best that I can do is say that my heart and my prayers go out to all of those affected, and I hope you're able to find more work soon, because this is just... I mean, again, this isn't even the last time that we have to talk about this today, because literally the next story is about even more layoffs, so let's go ahead and get into that. Next up, EA was hit with layoffs, and it's pretty sad because they try to dress it up like, oh, it's only a small percentage, but you gotta remember how huge a company like EA is. But anyway, let's get into this. This coming from EA, quote, "As a company full of creators and storytellers, we believe in the value of teams innovating together and continue to learn and adopt new ways of collaborating to grow and serve our global communities. Given how and where we are working, we're continuing to optimize our global real estate footprint to best support our business. We are also sunsetting games and moving away from development of future licensed IP that we do not believe will be successful in our changing industry. This greater focus allows us to drive creativity, accelerate innovation, and double down on our biggest opportunities, including our owned IP, sports, and massive online communities, to deliver the entertainment players want today and tomorrow. Lastly, we are streamlining our company operations to deliver deeper, more connected experiences for fans everywhere that build communities, shape culture, and grow fandom. In this time of change, we expect these decisions to impact approximately 5% of our workforce." Again, it's only 5%, but you gotta remember how big a company like EA is. I understand this will create uncertainty and be challenging for many who have worked with such dedication and passion and have made important contributions to our company. While not every team will be impacted, this is the hardest part of these changes, and we have deeply considered every option to try and limit impacts to our teams. Our primary goal is to provide team members with opportunities to find new roles and paths to transition on to other projects. Where that's not possible, we will support and work with each colleague with utmost attention, care, and respect. Communicating these impacts has already begun and will be largely completed by early next quarter. I want to extend my appreciation to everyone who has helped contribute to EA's ongoing story. We are a team that leans into our values to lead the future of entertainment, and I look forward to what we will create together. Thank you for all that you do." End quote. So again, I mean, how many layoffs did we just talk about? I mean, there was the ones at Supermassive, the ones at PlayStation, and now we're talking about EA. This is literally almost 2,000, if not more, layoffs in the span of a week. This is a very uncertain and scary time to be a part of this industry, you know, especially if you're a developer. I would say specifically if you're a developer at one of these companies. And again, as always, my heart goes out to you guys, and I really hope you're able to find new and stable work soon. And I really hope something changes in this industry, because I mean, we're probably in the 5 digits, if not even higher now, of total layoffs in 2024 alone, and we're not even 3 months into the year yet. So, I don't know. I mean, yeah, we're literally just finishing up the second month of the year. So, I really hope something changes soon, because this is just, not only is it scary, but it's just flat out sad. Next up, Nintendo is suing Yuzu. This coming from The Verge. Quote, "Nintendo has sued the developers of Yuzu in U.S. federal court with the intent of squashing Yuzu for good. In the lawsuit spotted by Stephen Totillo, Nintendo alleges that Yuzu violates the anti-circumvention and anti-trafficking provisions of the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, aka DMCA, as well as accusing the creators of copyright infringement. It alleges Yuzu is primarily designed to circumvent several layers of Nintendo Switch encryption so its users can play copyrighted Nintendo games. The company's not only asking for the courts to stop Yuzu in its tracks with a permanent injunction, it also wants to take away its domain names, URLs, chat rooms, and social media presence. In other words, hand yuzuemu.org over to Nintendo, and even seize and destroy its hard drives to wipe out the emulator. Oh, and Nintendo wants lots of money and damages as well. Nintendo's arguing that Yuzu is knowingly facilitating piracy at a colossal scale. Nintendo suggests that Yuzu is facilitating that piracy in a myriad of ways, including providing detailed instructions on how to get it running with unlawful copies of Nintendo Switch games, testing thousands of official Nintendo Switch games to verify their compatibility, and linking to websites that help users obtain and further distribute the product keys. Nintendo also says the developer have clearly extracted Nintendo Switch games themselves, bypassing encryption in order to test their own emulator. If Nintendo can prove that Yuzu is primarily designed to give people access to official Nintendo Switch games and has no other real use, Yuzu would be indeed in trouble. DMCA Section 1201 bans products primarily designed or produced for the purpose of circumventing a technological measure that effectively controls access to a copyrighted work. It's the same provision that game archivists have struggled with for years. Quote, "The important thing is that Nintendo is bringing the case as a DMCA circumvention claim," says Richard Hoeg, a business attorney who hosts the Virtual Legality podcast. He tells me that while emulators are broadly legal if engineered correctly, the DMCA also lets Nintendo focus on whether the emulator was only designed to break Nintendo's control over its games. Quote, "There's a real chance for them to win as the court tests things like the effectiveness of the measure and just how the emulator was created," Hoeg says. Nintendo suggests in its complaint that it may have actually been damaged by Yuzu 2, alleging that The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom was illegally downloaded over 1 million times in early May 2023, while Yuzu's Patreon membership doubled during that same period. Legal emulation or no, Yuzu may not want to risk finding out in a court of law. Many small bands of developers have axed their projects after being approached by Nintendo, and it wouldn't be surprising if Yuzu settled. Quote, "I'd say the claim here is enough to get a reasonable emulator company to cease, desist, and settle claims," says Hoeg, "but remember that this is only one side of the story at present." End quote. Yuzu didn't immediately respond to requests for its side of the story on Discord and via email. End quote. So, it's been said many times that emulation in itself is not illegal, which obviously Nintendo isn't necessarily going after in this instance, which would be pretty silly considering they literally host emulators on their very own Nintendo Switch Online service with their Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, and all the other emulators that they have on there. But, they're coming at it from the side of, like, piracy and the whole prod.keys thing. So, obviously, at this time, there's not a whole lot that I could say because, I'm not good with legal stuff, so I can't really determine the outcome here. And there's also nothing that Yuzu can really say. They've been pretty quiet on the social medias and in their Discord, so we'll see how this plays out. It's funny, last year and the year before that, we had all the controversy and all the courtroom stuff with Xbox and Activision, and now that we finished that courtroom drama, now we're on to a new and a bit of a different courtroom drama with Nintendo suing Yuzu, so we'll see how this one plays out. Next up, I just wanted to let you guys know that Aerial Knights Never Yield is free on Epic Games, and it is free until March 7th, so you might as well go redeem it, because it's free. Next up, Dead Island 2 Shadow dropped onto Game Pass. So last week, you know, we went over all the new games that are coming to Xbox Game Pass, and then shortly thereafter, they decided to just gotta Shadow drop this one onto the service. So yeah, this game came out last year, April of 2023, and if you haven't gotten to try it yet, I can highly recommend it. I literally beat it within 24 hours of it coming out. Absolutely love this game, and yeah, it's a great time. Next up, we got the March PS Plus essential games for you guys, those being Sifu, Destiny 2 The Witch Queen, which isn't exactly a game, it's more of an expansion, but, you know, F1 23, and Hello Neighbor 2. So a solid lineup overall. If there's any of them that I could highly recommend, or it's like, hey, you know, you really gotta play this one, it's underrated, I would go with Sifu. I mean, it might be a little crazy to say that it's underrated, but I feel like, hey, it got a lot of buzz when it came out, and then everybody stopped talking about it, so I'm just making sure everybody knows. This game is absolutely amazing, and if you got PS Plus Essential, or Extra, or Premium, or whatever, definitely redeem this one, and definitely give it a shot. Next up, we got a recap of the Pokemon Presents that happened on February 27th. So, it was 12 minutes and 47 seconds long, and we got some cool stuff announced, so we'll just go through all of it in order. First, they announced some Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Terra raids, those being 3 7-star Terra raids events marching Mighty Charizard, Mighty Venusaur, and Mighty Blastoise. These raids will take place from February 28, 2024 to March 17, 2024. They also announced a Pokemon Go event. They're doing a crossover with their Horizons anime for a special event that will take place between March 5th, 2024 to March 11, 2024. Pokemon Sleep is getting some new legendaries, these being Gen 2 legendaries, Entei, Raikou, and Suicune, those coming March 2024. Pokemon Masters EX is getting new teams, those being Gita and Glimora on February 28, 2024, and then Silver and Tyranitar on March 1st, 2024. Pokemon Cafe Remix introduced Gimmickle coin rewards. They also added more outfits as well as Koraidon and Miraidon. Pokemon Unite had Miraidon join the game's lineup with Phalanx coming in April and Ceruledge coming sometime in the future, but there's no official release date yet. You can also redeem the Pokéday 24 code for a 3-day Miraidon limited license and a Platinum Miraidon boost emblem. Pokemon Trading Card Pocket. This is a new mobile game. It'll be releasing sometime in 2024, but it's all about collecting Pokemon trading cards digitally. You'll be able to open up card packs, trade with your friends, and even battle them. Again, it's all digital though, so this isn't like an AR thing. It doesn't involve or require any cards in real life. It's all digital. And then finally, they announced Pokemon Legends Z through A. It was, like I said, it was the very final thing revealed. It won't be launching until 2025, but this is the next entry in the Pokemon Legends sub-series, and yeah, Arceus, it was an absolutely amazing game, of course, so to say that I'm super excited for this one would be a massive understatement, but all in all, this was a great Pokemon Presents, my opinion. Some people may disagree because there wasn't any, like, new mainline games announced. Well, I mean, Legends, you know, I feel like that counts, even though Legends is a bit of a spin-off, but the way I see it, they didn't try to waste their time with anything. They just got to it, they were like, hey, this is what's coming out, this is the new stuff coming to our games, and then they announced a new game at the end, or actually 2 new games at the end, and that was it, and it all happened in under 13 minutes, so in my mind, that's a great event, because they weren't trying to waste their time, they were like, hey, here's the new stuff, and that's that, so overall, I really enjoyed it. But anyway, that is all the stories that I got for you guys this week, so you know, I'd definitely love to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on everything that we talked about, whether it's the controversy with Nintendo and Yuzu, or the Pokemon Presents, or any of the new games coming out? Are you playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? Just, before I, you know, wrap things up here, don't spoil anything about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth down in the comments. I'm not just saying that for my sake, but I'm just saying it for, like, anybody in general watching this, okay? Don't be down there spoiling stuff, but whatever it is, whatever you're thinking, I'd definitely like to hear from you guys. But anyway, this is Weekly GCap. No episodes go live every single Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern, so if you want to catch them as soon as they go live, well then, now you know when to be here. But anyways, that's gonna do it for me, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Have an amazing day and an amazing weekend. Stay beautiful. I love you all. Peace.